Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. If I cough, I apologize. I'm a little under the weather. I got reminded today of Chauncey Hollingberry. I don't know if anybody remembers him. He was Daddy and Master or Dragonfire or something or the other. Anyway, peep this, folks. He lives in Arizona, and he started harassing a female in Arizona. I think she worked for the state. Don't know the position. But anyway, he took offense to her somehow. I think maybe she was an attorney or something. He took offense to her, and he started harassing her. He would post publicly available information about her, send emails about her, get other people to call, write, email about her, get people to make complaints about her. He alleged to have her compromising photos of her, allegedly, and he threatened to distribute them. He found her mugshot, her publicly available mugshot, and she had been arrested for, I think, a drug offense, and he sent that around. He emailed her supervisor and stuff with it. Like, basically, he was taking a bunch of publicly available information and compiling it and broadcasting it about her. And Chauncey ended up getting arrested and charged with federal crimes. Now you're going to say, well, if Chauncey lived in Arizona and he was threatening someone or harassing someone in Arizona, how did he catch federal charges? And I believe it's because, if I remember correctly, I haven't looked this up, so grain of salt. But I believe he used the means, methods, and modes of interstate commerce, i.e. he used email and he used YouTube, internet. He used the internet, right, to harass this woman. So today, a couple of boomers notified me about it, and one of them finally managed to say, hey, it's actually in the criminal case, and provided me one of the documents for the criminal case, which mentions me. So again, thank you, Chauncey, for keeping the memory alive. Chauncey thinks about my penis, apparently, which thank you. I'm flattered. He says that his penis is bigger than mine, that Beelzebub told him that his penis is bigger than mine. But Satan is the father of lies, so, what are you going to do, right? Anywho, in any way. So he did like 760 some odd days, basically 2 years and change in confinement, lockup, and he is about a year into a 3-year supervised release. So there's conditions associated with it, like they could just take his electronics at any time on reasonable suspicion to see if there's any issues with them. He can't do various things on the internet, etc. And if he does those things, well, not only can they revoke his supervised release, but they could also add charges, right? It's a crime to violate the conditions of your release. So it's an issue. It's a thing. So anyway, I don't know, a couple months ago, Chauncey filed a motion to terminate his supervised release early. The federal government opposed it, and I'm pretty sure that the federal government's going to win on their opposition. I don't think that Chauncey's going to get early release from his supervised release. And then in, I guess, retaliation, on the 11th, March 11th, Chauncey filed a motion for Rule 11 sanctions against the United States attorney who was the prosecuting attorney, I believe. But somehow the relief that he's requesting makes people who are not parties to the United States versus Hollingberry do things or not do things, which I don't know how that even could happen if the judge wanted to, because they're not parties to the case, so the judge doesn't have jurisdiction over them. Little things like that, but, I'm just a first-year family law attorney. What do I know? So my strong gut instinct is that the judge is going to deny his Rule 11 sanctions motion as well. But that got me thinking, who else is in Arizona that's harassing a woman who may not be working for the state, but she's working for a university. And he's not really doing anything other than aggregating publicly available information and spreading it about her. Who could that be? Oh, Lane Meyers. Lane Meyers, as many of you know, has just caught 7, I think, felony charges and 7 misdemeanor charges. Now, I'm going to assume the 7 and 7, not having read them, I'm going to assume that they're alternatives. So he'd either get caught on the 7 felonies, or he can get caught on the 7 misdemeanors, or some variation thereof. But like, my best guess is that they're charging him like, we think you did like felony harassment, but in the alternative you did misdemeanor harassment. On this day we think you did felony harassment, or in the alternative misdemeanor harassment. I think that's what they're doing. I could be wrong. Anyway, it's the number of charges doesn't really mean a lot, other than it means something. Because humans, we are pattern recognition machines. The ADL doesn't like that, but we are pattern recognition machines, and we see patterns in things. And there's that old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it does tend to lead credence to like harassment claims if you have multiple instances of harassment, especially if it's against the same person. Quantity is a quality all its own. And if you get in front of a jury, the cumulative evidence can play out pretty strong. I would prefer always fewer charges, or unrelated charges, if you know what I'm saying. Like one harassment with a resisting arrest, with a minor possession charge, or something like that. Like not actually the same kind of thing, multiple of the same thing. I would prefer. Well, thankfully, I don't do defense work. I've done a little bit, but I don't like doing it, so I avoid it at all costs. But if I had to, I would prefer disparate charges, because the state most likely is going to be able to have the victim say, yes, on this date he did this, on this date he did this, and you're going to have to go through and like, boom, 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 and even if you knock one of them out, you still got the others. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It's all bad. It's all bad for Lane Meyers. It's all bad. And I'm not saying he's going to lose. I'm saying that he's not in an enviable position. I would rather not be in his position, is what I'm saying. It's all bad. It's all bad. But think about it. He's going so far over the line. There was an arraignment. At the arraignment, I don't know what the actual order is for his bond conditions, because that's a document. And if anybody gets the documents for the Lane Meyers stuff, I'd love to see it. Drop it in my Discord. I will take a look at it, and I will probably make a video. I make it a video today on Chanty Hollingberry, because people notified me of something interesting in his case that I thought was worth mentioning. And plus, I was mentioned in the pleading, so that always really helps. But anyway, so at the arraignment, when they were talking about bond conditions, some things popped to mind, or registered with me as I was listening to it. Not really paying attention, but I was listening to it. Number one is the district attorney is monitoring Lane Meyers' YouTube. They're monitoring it. So, like, if Lane Meyers had an attorney, which he made a oral motion at that hearing to proceed pro per, and I think the arraignment judge said you have to bring that motion to the trial judge, so she didn't rule on it. But it sounds like he's going to be proceeding pro per. And he's probably not taking the advice of the attorney who was representing him at the arraignment. But if he was taking advice, he would have taken down all of the videos about the alleged victim, and he wouldn't have made any more videos about the alleged victim. At least he wouldn't have posted them until after he was found not guilty. But Lane, having the, in my opinion, oppositional defiance disorder, he decided to, I guess, double down, and he's been posting like daily videos about the alleged victim, and he doesn't appear to have taken anything down. But he said that he would be taking down all the videos. So I'm thinking that was a term of the release, a term for his bond, a bond condition. But I don't know. Again, I haven't seen the written order. It would be interesting to see the written order. It would be interesting. And I have to remind everybody here that, you may think that Lane Meyers is a genius, but we've dealt with this in the past. This community has seen these same things happen. The similarities between Hollingberry and Lane Meyers are pretty big. I mean, Hollingberry thought he was an attorney. He said he had the law offices of daddy and master or something like that. He portrayed himself as an attorney. He wasn't an attorney, but he pretended that he was, and he thought he knew the law. Eric Brandt thought he was a genius, threatened a judge, got like 18 years or some nonsense. Mexican Padilla was bullheaded and ignorant, and he pushed and pushed and pushed, caught charge after charge after charge, and he caught a big one, and then he has neither hide nor hair of him since. I mean, there are some good, smart auditors. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're legal geniuses. Like Jeff Gray, I can't vouch for his understanding of the law, but he's smart and he's a good auditor, and I'll stand by that. He caught a charge recently for felony trespass, and it was so bad that not only did the charges get dropped, but the district attorney filed a notice that charges would not be filed on it, which is a big deal. And I believe the police department issued an apology. And if you add that all up, it sounds like money going into Jeff Gray's pocket. And Jeff Gray, if you make enough money, you could come out to California and buy me a steak. If you don't make enough, if you come out to California, I'll still buy you a steak. Because I like you, even if you don't like me. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Be careful out there if you are auditing. And have a great day.